All right, well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. So excited to be with you on a Saturday talking what? Our favorite topic, real estate. It's always around the Coleman household, real estate. Then we mix in a little basketball and the kids, and before you know it, the summer has begun, and it's full force. Hope everybody's having an amazing week. Thank you for spending your Saturday with us. As always, if you're tuning in for the first time, make sure you catch us out on News Talk 98.7 at 1 o'clock. Real Estate with Ryan is always there every Saturday, along with our other partner, Talk Radio 92.3 FM at 11 a.m. Always like to check us out on those great stations. Been running for years there and appreciate the support. And, of course, you check us on social media. We're always there, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. We're there streaming in case you want to catch a replay. Maybe you're doing the ball thing. We got back from Kentucky. That was a huge event. If you haven't been there, you have kids in sports, it's a girls tournament that's in Louisville, Kentucky. And it was packed. It was 81 courts there. And I've never seen so many girls. We had the younger girls, which are my kids are in, or at least my daughter. And then they had the big girls coming in on Thursday. So it was madness. So it was some special event to be at. They had fun. It was a good experience. But glad to be back with you guys, talking a little real estate. So a lot of real estate news going on, super busy. And we're going to the second half of the year. What does that mean for real estate? It means, what does it mean, Ryan? It means that half the year's over. And, you know, the busiest time of the year, we're talking with clients right now, is that opportunity. You know, if your home's not on the market, it needs to get there. Second half of the year, nobody really knows what's going on. You know, the last couple of weeks, rates have been going down. This week, they're up just a little bit, but they're under 7%. And a conversation that I had with a great client is, if we're going to move, we've got to do it this year. And we're going to talk about a great show today. We're going to have a good show. I thought it's time sensitive of this year as the affordability goes into the housing market, but rent payments could be used to help Americans qualify for the mortgage for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So that came out. We'll talk a little bit about that. Then we'll talk about, in the second half, talk about the new tax bill. How will it affect the real estate market, investors, purchasers, taxes, so there's certain deductions that are approved and not approved, and all those have been changed, and some have kept in the same condition as was in 2017. So a lot of those tax cuts were set to expire or phase out over a period of time, and some of those have given some life back to the real estate market. So you should see that across the country, especially in our markets, where we're doing 1031s, different things like that. That will affect the housing market, which is a good thing. So we'll talk about that and so much more. But before we get going, always, we've got our new congrats, new listings, a lot of things going on in the housing market. Been very busy. Let's see here. We got a new listing on 124 Laura Lane, coming active, new construction out there in Maynardville, about 2,500 square feet, beautiful lake views, 3-car garage. It's in the framing stage. You got a chance to pick your colors, have some opportunities. There will be another one available as well. So make sure you check that property out, 1.8 acres. Check that out, Laura Lane, beautiful property on Maynardville. 439 Chestnut Lane in Loudon coming soon. Got 512 Cedar Gate Lane in La Follette coming soon. And 1123 Anastasia Way in Gatlinburg coming soon. So we've got a lot of inventory that's getting to the market. We know we've got to do it, Ryan, and they're seeing inventories increasing. Powell Valley Shores coming out in Speedwell, something new. That's a new lot that's coming out there. Congrats to our great seller, 1927 Brandville Road in Knoxville, avid listener of the radio, and we appreciate him so much. Glad to get his property under contract. Congrats to our great sellers in Maryville on 228 Mason Court, under contract, now closed. And then 111 Deer Haven Court in Harriman, under contract. Another great client there. Glad to help them in that situation and get everything closed for them, and super successful for them. So a lot going on. Housing markets all over the board. But we're seeing it pick up a little bit as family vacations, things going on, ball tournaments, all those things are going on. The summer is hectic. And it seems like it goes by quicker than expected. So that's what we're seeing in the housing market. A lot of people are busy, taking vacations, very active. And if you're thinking about selling or putting your home on the market or purchasing, now is the time to get involved. Not sure where the rates are going to be, but I did see something come out the other day that Fannie Mae, or was it a Goldman Sachs, said something that most consist that the rates may be somewhat unchanged for the rest of this year, but they could see 6 or 7 cuts in 26. If you're like me, and most consumers are watching the housing market, you really can't, you have to watch away from the news media, especially when the rates and waiting for Mr. Powell there to make a decision, and you just really can't do that. I think now is a time where buyers have now more selection and buying power than we've ever seen. And so that's a great opportunity to get into the housing market, to do some wheeling and dealing, because I think if the rates go down dramatically, or let's say a point or a half a point, and I don't think that's going to happen overnight, but if it does, a lot of the inventory will soon dissipate. And then if that happens, then we'll start going back to more of a uneven market. Sellers are getting multiple offers, and so it's not advantageous for the buyers. So, in real estate, it's always timing. That's always what I tell everybody. Real estate's never about, they say location, location, location. I think that's number one. Number two is timing, right? You find the right property with the right seller at the right time, then you're able to put a deal together. Or find that property that just makes sense. Or maybe that buyer had great interest that was in town, and they were in town for the weekend, and they had your forever home that you were looking at. But the neighbors, looked at it as well. And then there was some competition, but the couple that was going to make an offer on it, they had to fly out and get back home. So before they could make an offer on it, that's available. It's timing. That's what we're talking about. Having that opportunity, timing where that property, the perfect one for you, is available and doesn't have another offer. And, selling now. How do we look across the country where people are relocating and coming to East Tennessee, selling their property or investment property, and having your property on the market at the right time? If you watch the news media, I'm not sure if it's ever going to be the right time. But I think there's a lot of things in the market that we have a lot of people that are selling and buying, and now is probably a better time than we've ever seen. A couple of years ago, I looked at the inventory, and we were talking extensively in one of our meetings. We had 1,500 homes in the market around the area. It's very hard to sell and purchase, and it discouraged a lot of people from being in the market. Let's get back into the show. As always, I can get talking, but rent payments could be used for Americans to help qualify for mortgages. The U.S. real estate market is about to see a shift in the upcoming months. According to the U.S. industry, Americans will be leveraging their rent payments to qualify for their mortgage under the new federal housing finance director, Bill Pulte. He said the housing regulators oversees Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and that on Tuesday, the credit history no longer will just include credit cards and loans, slowly expanding that Americans will qualify for mortgage even using Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac for their rent payments. And so previously, homeowners' credit was based solely on FICO scores, and they did not consider a Vantage score. And so a Vantage score is one of the variables that impact the credit score. But in 2022, FHA began allowing first-time home buyers to use positive rental history to help them qualify for FHA mortgage. FHA mortgages are backed by the government. And so now they're changing for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which are conventional mortgages. As of May, the U.S. household would need about 44.6% of their income to afford a median-priced home in today's data. That's what the data shows. 30% of the threshold. That affordability isn't strained. It's nearly extinct, right? Consumers have taken on too much debt, auto loans, credit cards, and things like that. But with this, maybe somebody doesn't have that. They haven't extended. Maybe they just knew, the first-time buyers in today's housing market, how challenging is it to purchase your first forever home or your new home. Maybe just getting married, got a little kiddo in the way. Or maybe you're just downsizing, just purchase a home in general. Affordability is a key factor, but maybe you just don't have much credit. Well, now we'll be able to use your mortgage or your rent payments to affect your new purchase on your mortgage. The only catch that I saw really here, I say catch, but really important to know or kind of take away from, is that if for some reason you don't pay your rent on time or it could lag a little bit, and those things happen for a combination of reasons, then that could maybe hurt your chances of a purchase in the future. So, if you're currently renting now, have a landlord, pay your rent on time, don't drag it out. because now is an opportunity as a renter to get into your home. And you never know when that purchase may be. Make sure you pay your rent on time, because this is going to be used to help you qualify down the road, even if you don't have tons of credit. You know, we're talking about the new Senate bill that was passed for real estate, and we're going to go into the second half talking a lot about that, how it could affect the real estate market. Most importantly, how would it affect your chances in selling your home this year? A lot of people are watching the market, interest rates, but our 1031s are huge as well. Stay with us on the second half of Real Estate with Ryan. We'll be right back.
Knoxville and East Tennessee. The region is known for its rolling hills, rivers, and lakes. There's no better place to work, live, or raise a family. Home is where your story begins. Buying or selling your home is a big decision, and you need a real estate team you can trust.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, your hometown experts. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let us develop a winning game plan for you.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you.
All right, we're back at it. Real Estate with Ryan, second half. We're going in hot and heavy on a Saturday. Hope everybody's having an amazing time. Just as always, you know, things are getting busy. Summer's getting busy. But I just want to reach out to you guys to let you know that if I can help you or my team can help you anyway, as we're already through half of the year, it's really hard to believe. And if we can help you anyway, let us know. We're a phone call away. If you're thinking about selling, the most important thing in today's housing market is knowing your numbers. And the numbers are changing constantly. And knowing where your numbers are going to be, how much your home is worth, you know, what's pending now, that has all changed dramatically. We've got a free service. I mean, you don't even have to give us a call. You can text us. So we've got that available for you. So make sure you got your pen handy. Or you can call us, right? So if you want your home's value, always text into the office. It's done by our real team. It's no robots, no AI. And we'll give you some real numbers on what your home is worth in today's market. I think it's the first part of starting that journey if you're thinking about purchasing and selling, knowing your value. You've got to know the numbers. And then number two, of course, we always encourage getting with a good agent in the marketplace, getting a knowledgeable, experienced team that just not going to put it on the market for you and kind of say, okay, here's where we're at. Got that call the other day, and he said, Ryan, you just kind of put it on the market. I was going to hope it was going to sell. In today's market, he said, Ryan, I want a sale price. He said, Ryan, the realtor didn't even call me back. I said, I wanted to lower the price. He didn't even call me back. You know, this market is challenging, and experience is key. We've been doing it 26 years. I really believe I got some of the best team here across East Tennessee. We cover a wide range, you know, about an hour and a half outside of Knoxville, East Tennessee. And we do that because of our reach, our radio, and of course, we love East Tennessee. We love helping people. So if we can do anything to help you, we're always here. It's 693-SOLD, 693-SOLD, best number in real estate. But here, text your value. Make sure you start that. Take your time, and I'd love to give you a preliminary look. And then if you want more detail, we'll be glad to come out to the property and go in detail. All right, it's 865-290-2290. 865-290-2290 for your home value. Costs nothing. Ryan, you don't have to hear from me. We're going to give you your value, give us some information, and we do that as a free service. We'd love to help you if you like to move forward, but it's better than these Zillows and Realtor.com. It's not realistic. In today's market, that won't help you. So text into our number, easy peasy, as I would say. And glad to help you with that and to start your journey. So let's talk the second half, but before we get too going into that, we've got our update, Vols update. We've got something here. All right. Drum roll, please. All right, 60-second Vol update. Atlanta safety has committed to the Vols class of 2026, Dral Cumbay of Kell High School in Marietta, Georgia. His depth is a big commitment to the Vols defense, and excited about that. Let's see. As you know, it is weeks till football time in East Tennessee. Make sure you're following our page. All of our social media channels. We got some exciting stuff that we're going to do for you guys. We're giving away tickets to every home game. Then we got basketball right around the corner and so much fun. So make sure you like, subscribe to our channels. Just Ryan Coleman, Hometown Realty. You'll see it out there. And follow us. We've got exciting stuff coming up. It's hard to believe the summer, but the summer's going to be over. Before you know it, it's going to be football time. Be exciting time here in East Tennessee. So make sure you follow our pages. That's what I've got right now for the Vols Update. 60 seconds. Hometown Realty, proud sponsor of the Vols. Go Big Orange. A lot going on here. All right, let's see here. Let's get back to it. Always in a summer month. Seems like can't fit it all into this show. But let's get back. We're talking about the real estate market. What has changed on this big, beautiful bill? Big, beautiful bill. How the big, beautiful bill could affect housing market. It's like one of these bills they never read, and it's got all these pages. In the last minute, they push it through and say, sign it. And so I'm not sure if they half know what's in there or not. But here's some things that they're talking about that I think is beneficial, and more importantly, beneficial to us in the housing market. One of the most important things I think that came out which was a big win, and of course the National Association of Realtors kind of echoed that sentiment there, that permanent extensions of lower individual tax rates. We give the government too much money as it is, so we definitely are glad to see that. We've got enhanced and permanent qualified business income deductions. So that's good to see. Good to see there. Now, in the housing market as a whole, there was something called the SALT deductions. And if you haven't followed that, it's where they were taxing or they were capping how much your property taxes and things like that could be calculated and actually reduced and included in your tax return. So they have changed that and increased that. Let's see, I've got here. Some of these were, 2025, perfect example. Some of these were down to 40% that you could deduct. But now we've got a permanent deduction for those. So that's good to see. Let's read through these real quick. What's most important, I'm going to jump, which is a real highlight right here. Permanent extension of the mortgage interest deduction. I mean, they were talking about phasing that away. How devastating would that be to be, advocating for home ownership and the interest is deduction, and if they got that away, I mean, I don't know what we'd do there. But now it's a permanent. We don't have to worry about that. They quadruple the state and local SALT deduction. So I think it was about $10,000 for your taxes, real estate property taxes. Now they 5 times it. Okay. Let's see here. Another big thing. So in our market, we serve the Smokies as well. A lot of investment properties, but not just the Smokies, but investment lands, commercial, different properties that we have. People are doing 1031s. If you're not familiar with what a 1031 is, it's where we're selling another property, no matter where it's at, and you're going to move up to a like-kind property or equal. And so you're deferring taxes, basically. So, I sell a parcel here. I'm going to gain $100,000. I don't want to pay Uncle Sam $100,000 tax on $100,000 on the gain. We purchase a cabin in the Smokies. And so we'll roll that over, and it's called a 1031 tax deferment, tax exchange. There was talks about getting rid of that or ending that or limiting that. And there was some fear in the housing market that real estate and its investments as a whole would definitely take a hit. Places like Destin, Las Vegas, Florida, certain parts of the market in Florida, the Smokies, different places like that. What would be the incentive to invest? And so they didn't do that. That's a good thing that they're going to extend with that. And then on top of that, which I'm not sure if a lot of people know, but savvy investors are. You guys know, but your bonus depreciation, 179 bonus depreciation. In 2025, it was set to be, I think, at 40%. So what that means is, let's use an example. If you're in the business, let's just say real estate agents or contractors or anybody that's out there with a car or vehicle that you could use. So a lot of the automobiles they're called 179, where you could buy a vehicle and depreciate the whole vehicle that year. All right, and so that means that you could essentially write that vehicle off. If you bought a $50,000 vehicle, you could write the whole $50,000 that calendar year on your business, on your taxes. Real estate's so great, you could do the same thing on bonus depreciation on depreciating that asset. So if I bought a cabin in the Smokies, I would go in, and I had a client yesterday, we just listed their property. He said, Ryan, last year, this bonus depreciation, just on the furniture alone, I bonus depreciated all the furniture in my cabin at $100,000. So I saved $100,000 by depreciating all the furniture in just the cabin alone. So think about this savings and tax advantages for real estate investors and in the housing market. These are all good things for the housing market. And if you're selling a property or purchasing a property, we've got low-income housing tax credit that was extended. The child tax credit was increased to $2,200, which is good. This is big for our estates. Permanent estate and gift tax threshold set at $15 million, inflation adjusted. It prevents a sharp drop in exemption levels and supports generational wealth transfer. No increase in the top individual tax rate, still 39.6%. No changes to the carried interest rule. And then we've got strength opportunity for zones. So housing, affordable housing, has opportunities to focus for more affordable housing. So those are some of the highlights on the housing market. Tax bill hopefully helped the real estate market, of course, here in East Tennessee. As always, we wind down the show. Thank you for listening. If we can help you with anything in the housing market, buying or selling, we're always here. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Look forward to seeing you back next weekend with Real Estate with Ryan. You guys take care.